Hi guys, I'm going to continue story of my spiritual awakening. That is going to be part 3. It was during my first year of PhD. One day in the beginning of the second semester, I suddenly felt fatigue. I was not able to go to the university. I thought I simply was burned out from overworking. But it lasted for 3-4 months. I had been staying at home all this time, only being able to go to the grocery. After months, I realized that I was not sick, neither burned out. Also, I started to understand that something was happening to me on energetic level. There were a lot of releasing of old, outlived energies and a lot of downloads of new energies. My body had hard time of releasing a huge amount of old energies. It was accompanied with heavily sweating. My apologies for such details, but I have been feeling like I was a cloud which was raining non-stop. I was shocked in the beginning, but then I started to understand intuitively what was going on. Also, there were occurring a lot of downloads of higher frequency of new energies and new information. Adapting to all of it was like my consciousness had been working on its extreme capacities. I had been overwhelmed with all of these downloads. The days were passing so quickly for me, so I lost counts in months, leave alone days. I was not able to say which month was that. I even couldn't recall names of people I had been interacting on a daily basis. I was very ungrounded. It was very difficult to me to focus on mundane things. I was not able to understand what were talking about. It all seemed to me irrelevant. That time I had been having a lot of cleansing. There were several shifts in my awakening, which felt like expansion of consciousness. I have to say, it was not an easy process. In fact, it is still going on. Back at that time, in the first year of my PhD, I had heavy, foggy mind. It was very difficult for me to function in the physical world. Most of the time, I had been operating in the higher realms. I had seen and heard things I usually couldn't see and hear otherwise. I was ungrounded at that time. It took me a while to get back balanced and grounded. It was back then when I had another second important moment in my awakening. To recall, the first important moment was remembering of my past lives, which were described in the first 2 videos. One night when I was sleeping, I had seen numbers 1111, and the voice told me, "Wake up." But I didn't want to wake up right away. I wanted to continue my sleep. So I thought, later, I will later. But the voice kept insisting. It told me, "Now, you have to wake up now." I wake up, was sitting there and wondering about what happened. I was sure only in one thing. That was not a dream, and the voice was real. I knew that was a wake-up call. I needed to wake up from this life. After this incident, I was searching for the ways to wake up, and I was guided in this process. In general, I can identify this moment when I started to be more aware of myself. The cleansing was going on, but I was getting more focused on my physical material life, on my personal goals, and on my mundane tasks, because I was worried about becoming ungrounded again, since in my first year it caused me some problems with my PhD studies. Then I had a third revelation. It happened again while I was sleeping. I had seen a spacious building where were sitting a few people who just were awakened. They looked lost and shocked with what was happening around. A big crowd of people were led astray. I knew as other awakened people that those crowd of people were led for persecution and even death. I knew that, but I did nothing about that. Guilt was eating me out because those people, innocent people, were not aware of what was happening. It was easy to lead them astray. I was aware of what was happening and yet didn't prevent that terrible thing. I could share with people what I knew, but I was not sure how to do that. Also, I didn't know if my words will have any value to people. I woke up in the middle of the night. I had been contemplating on that for several months until I started to reconsider my personal goals. Now my goals are linked with sharing, giving knowledge with people, which in turn could help people awaken as well too. I think that was completion of the first cycle of my awakening. In the beginning of my awakening, my world turned upside down. Things which once were very important in my life became less important, and vice versa. Things which were not that important became very important to me. In the past, I used to focus mostly on material side of my life. My personal goals were about personal achievements. But now, spiritual side of my life came forth. No, I didn't become religious or anything like that, but my gaze was shifted inward, which paradoxically allowed me to see the world clearly. Now my goals started to shift from being personal to be more about people, but at the same time, keeping them practical. I'd like to mention other side effects of awakening, but those are more positive. For example, with awakening, I have become more confident in myself. In the past, I used to underestimate myself a lot. It feels like with awakening, a lot of self limiting beliefs I used to have about myself started to disappear. Another important moment is love. Love that I have for myself and for the people in general has grown a lot. I remember once when I was meditating, I felt how my heart was getting filled with immense love. Afterwards, I was sitting a while being shocked. I didn't know what to do with that love. I never had I have never had such overwhelming feelings toward people. Also, another moment I would like to mention is that reading some situations for people became easier. I guess it is because with awakening, a lot of unnecessary rubbish is cleared out from my mind, which enables to think and see things clearly. Another interesting past life impact took place not long ago. I just woke up from my sleep. I didn't open my eyes yet. I just was laying down on my bed and thinking about my day, about what I will be doing after getting up. I was thinking to have a cup of tea and then to have a walk around my house and the land where the house was located. It was like a mid-century big house and ranch. I needed to check the work going on in this place. Then I planned to head to the office inside the house, where I will be writing. I was perceiving myself as an Italian man who used to write about society, economics, and politics. When I opened my eyes to get up and actually to do what I planned, I was shocked. Instead of the house, I found myself in a small room. After the shock passed away, I realized that I was that Italian man in my other lives. But right now, in this life, I am Belgian, who was born in Kazakhstan, who is now a PhD student in UK in the field of artificial intelligence, who lives in dormitory room. It took me for a while to shift my attention to my current life by accepting other life as another life. I even went to the bathroom to see myself in the mirror to be sure that I am indeed not that Italian man. It was very interesting and quite a bit disturbing experience. The whole day I had been perceiving myself like the Italian writer who appeared to be in Belgian's body and living Belgian's life. And interestingly, it was exactly the day when I started to write my blog. The day I posted my first blog ever. I had never been writing and posting anything publicly out prior to this experience. It feels like part myself who used to be the Italian writer awakened in me, or merged with me in my current life.
Yeah. If you like the video, share it and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one. Bye bye.